if you have not seen the spoilers for chapter 238, just be warned, I'm going to be talking about the spoilers that, I'm sure that a lot of the people that have, read the manga have seen them floating around the internet. If not, I've given you almost 40 seconds to turn away. But if you have seen the spoilers, or if this is, you check this video out after 238 officially drops, then that's fine. So I really just want to discuss, and I'm slightly still salty that I would, like, these two pictures for Asta and Yuno were perfect in the way that I was setting this up, except for the fact that you can't see all their legs. I mean, you can't see Xeno's hands, so whatever, fair trade-off. Well, you can't see his legs either, but his looks like, it's cut out from the picture. Anyway, so the way that we've had the characters set up between Asta and Yuno, they've been very parallel to each other. Asta is short, he's very muscular, he's loud and energetic, and Yuno is, he's tall, slim, he's very calm-minded, he's very collected in himself, very, like emotionally still, and just, he's got a very strong grasp on just his overall, like, just like emotional levels, just constant, like, still waters. You have Asta with the, he's a melee combatant kind of character with some ranged attacks, with a very demonic-like appearance. And he's also right-handed and right-wing, and he's got a he's right-winged. He's got a right wing on his body and right horn, whereas Yuno is, his form is very majestic-looking. He's left-handed, he's got, ranged magic with some melee kind of, like, style on top of that. He's got the only left side kind of crown, he's got the left wing. They very much have been presented throughout the story of, like one, half of this massive side to them of being, one is in this darker path, but one is in this lighter path. But with Asta and Yuno, they've both really been at the sake of the Clover Kingdom. They have been doing things for the good of the people, and throughout the story, though, it's really been, up until the time skip, really been about the Elf Resurrection arc. And now that we have the Spade War coming up, and I think everybody's seen, like, how much darker it's really been getting, that things are going to take a much more serious tone. Because with the Elf Resurrection arc, I talked about it a little bit, I don't think a lot of characters died, because I don't think that was the intent of what Tabata wanted, because the whole fact that the Word Devil was really the orchestra of everything, and neither the humans or the elves or really in the right or the wrong. It was a very kind of like mixed situation, that if a bunch of characters ended up dying, it would kind of make it really hard for them to forgive each other over, like, some stuff, when it really didn't have, like, an outcome that would have benefited either of them. But with the Spade War, it's getting a lot more serious. I think we've already seen what Xeno and his Dark Disciples have done just going into the Golden Dawn base. And if you've seen the spoilers for 238, like I said, we're looking at spoilers in this. It looks like Latoya and Klaus, have been skewered up and are dead. I'm really hoping Klaus is not dead. I don't know about Latoya, because she's not got nearly as much of a presence in the series. And Yuno got, like, thrashed. He got, one of Xeno's bone swords just shoved in his chest and just left. His grimoire plopped on the ground. His grimoire still up, though, is a sign that he's not dead, because when you die, generally, your grimoire disappears with you. But I know there's an exception, as we obviously see with Asa's grimoire. But the elves were kind of not dead, but dead in a weird sense, because their souls had passed on. Very particular situation I think we can go at. But, as it were, the way that they've been going, like I said, have been very much kind of like in this mirrored situation. And I think right now, like right to the time skip is a great presentation of it. When you see Asta, as soon as the time skip, he shows up at people in peril. He shows up at all these members of the Spade Kingdom that are pretty much being used as a fuel source for this large spade mech-like walking thing. And Asta goes and beats all these spade people, and he's pushing his demonic form in order to do good, and he ends up saving them and really is presented as this heroic figure in this whole situation. Whereas Yuno, he had his main base, the Golden Dawn's HQ, raided by Xeno and the Dark Disciples, and it was built up as if, they were going to have the kind of upper hand, as Yuno ran through Goderoy's, you know, I put out Spirit Dive, put out Spirit of Zephyr, and, you know, cut him down. And then you had the whole confrontation where, you know, with the other Dark Disciple, Klaus, Latois, and her name's hard to pronounce, like Latois? I don't know. And Yuno teaming up and being able to defeat the other Dark Disciple, and it looked like things were going well. And then Zeno is, you know, revealed he's pretty much just ran through William with no effort, and then as of 238, you know, just finishes the job, beats everyone there, potentially kills everyone but, you know, in the building. And he has utter defeat. He has utter defeat in this, whereas Asta did something really great, and, you know, he was presented as this hero. He's got this good kind of like, even though he doesn't really kind of take in the glory, he does it for the sake of being like good. You can look at it as he had this glorious moment that, like I said, he's like got to be like the shining hero main character, whereas Yuno was defeated. He had seemingly and apparently like everybody in his Night Order killed and their base destroyed. Again, I'm really hoping Klaus is still alive. Hopefully. Anyway, he might not be, regardless of which, Yuno is presented with this setup of having a very dark event happening to him. And if you know about Tabata, he loves Berserk, and he's talked about how he wants Black Clover to be like the shonen equal to Berserk, like the shonen equivalent to it. And whereas, similar to Asta, you know, you have Guts, who has this very dark, like power to him with his Berserk armor, and just the way that it looks and the way he's presented. And yet he's presented, he's the main character, and a lot of the times he does something heroic, whereas Griffith, similar to Yuno, has this very more majestic, very what you would kind of see, you know, as this more light power, more like not actual light, but more of like this kind of light path, very good and holy light kind of presentation. But probably, you know, hopefully, I'm guessing with Yuno as well, is going to be going towards this much more serious, much more vicious way. It's also on top of that, when you have Asta, who went up against one of the he was like a captain. I don't their captain levels aren't the same as like the Clover Kingdom's captain, but, you know, a 5% of demonic power character, a guy with no name that Asta ran through. Asta beat him, and, you know, as you can see, was it chapter, I think 229, I'll just pull it up real quick, might have been chapter 230, that Asta, even after defeating him, didn't kill him. Actually, no, it was chapter, I think it was 231. 230 is when he ended up fighting him and cleaved that entire walker in half. Yeah, Asta's got the guy like by the collar of his vest. Dude doesn't look dead, and he's like, I beat the guy, we're gonna save everybody. Whereas Yuno cut through the Dark Disciple, and Yuno has already killed people before. Like, remember back when the Diamond Kingdom invaded that town, and you had like the first real big display of William's magic with that massive tree and whatnot. But yeah, Yuno just shoved that like wind spear right through that dude's chest. But even in that like display where you have that, you have Asta doing much, you know, something like didn't kill this person. He didn't kill the guy who was fighting. You know, they apprehended him, whereas Yuno was just like, nope, cleaves right through, the blood splatter everywhere, you know, and just leaving him from, I think anybody that, you know, saw it could assume he was dead. So I'm really hoping that this is kind of like the way that it's gonna go, just because on top of it being interesting, it will further align up with this whole layout of Asta and Yuno really being two characters, though their end journey has been set to have a similar kind of like goal, being the Wizard King, Magic Emperor, whichever you prefer. But like I said, one solution of getting there is going to be, you know, this demonic looking character Asta with his, you know, demon like power and whatnot, powered from the anti-magic devil, going towards more of a heroic path to lead there, whereas Yuno with his whole like, you know, true magic, eventually spirit magic, very majestic, very more good guy looking and themed, arriving there by, he's going to end up going down a darker path. Also, I think one of the things that will lead him further down this darker path is the fact that he was not only utterly defeated by Zeno, not only just like a guy who slaughtered his like entire Night Order, but also one of the guys that killed his parents and whatnot. But anyway, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this whole kind of like theory of mine. I feel like a lot of people can look at it and see it too. It hasn't been confirmed, but I think it's something that we can kind of expect out of Tabata, especially with the style that the Spade War has been going so far. But other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, put in the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening.